Welcome to Anything New. My name is Matt. As always, I'm here with Opie
Hey.
and Pete.
Hello, friends.
Anything New is a podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. Guys, we are back with another show, episode 39. Oh, I should have looked up. It seems like I know a 39.
Hall of Fame fullback Larry Zonka from the Miami Dolphins.
1972 undefeated the Dolphins.
I was thinking there was an NBA player.
And I already have one on cue for next week.
Okay, I can't wait. You got to keep that in your pocket. We got a full show today. Actually, we haven't had this much to talk about in a couple weeks. We've got some pickups to talk about. Opie went to IKEA.
Boom.
Today. We are going to talk about a couple video games. Pete's been playing Resident Evil Village, the new Resident Evil game. And on Friday night, we played our first installment of Divinity Original Sin 2. Had a lot of fun with that.
Yep.
And at the end of the show, we have the return of NES Trivia, which is something we're going to try to be doing most every week. Maybe not every week, but close to it. But guys, first, we have got to start off with our Community Watch pick for the week. This was on Amazon Prime. It's a Michael B. Jordan joint called Without Remorse. Opie, this was your pick, so why don't you tell us about it?
Without Remorse. It's a Tom Clancy, I assume. It's a novel, movie based on his novel. Mm-hmm. It was put on by Amazon Studios, so it's an Amazon film. And it's basically the story, and I want to say it's too cookie cutter, but it's basically, like you said, I think, were we live when you talked about it? It was Punisher-esque. It's basically the kind of the thing, the story of the Punisher. But basically, a guy in the military, does military stuff, has a family. When he does military stuff against the wrong people, those people come back. And
I love that. Just a military guy doing military things,
But he's more, it's covert ops, special Navy SEAL team stuff. So he's the baddest of the bad, toughest of the tough. He's all up in it all the time. And so him and his team take down some targets, and of course, there's always a CIA operative. There's always the street clothes guy that comes in with the team saying, this is our objective. This is, if you ever saw Rambo, it was like the Murdoch guy in Rambo First Blood, part 2. Yeah. He's like, abort the mission. We're not here for the prisoners. We're totally changing the objective. Screws over the team. They're in the dark. Of course, it's one of those. It's a need to know basis, and he doesn't need to know, but his family ends up getting killed, and most members of the team. It kind of reminded me of Commando. In the beginning of the Commando, they off his team that he went to, that he was with in the beginning of the Commando, like the garbage man actually kill a guy, and it was so funny. I wonder if they did that as an homage to Commando, because one of the guys in this movie got killed taking out the garbage. He got ran over,
dude.
I thought they were that was telegraphed, right? Like you knew that was coming. You heard the van pull up. Oh, he's putting the trash away. You could hear a vehicle. I thought it was going to be like a drive-by. No, they just
ran him over.
Ran him over. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I've never seen a person get run over in real life, but that was a pretty accurate description of how a real life human being run over. It kind of got hung up underneath a little bit, and then like the van kind of bunny hopped over his corpse. That was pretty gnarly.
It was. So those were they were taking out the SEAL team, a couple of guys at a time. They ambushed one guy in like he was in a traffic jam in Atlanta, of all places. A lot about you, Matt, living in Atlanta. There's always traffic. And so he decides to he's actually at home when they come after him, and his wife is pregnant. And so he's kind of giving mommy some space, and they kind of say he's down in the man cave, chilling, listening to music, and they come in and they actually unfortunately kill his wife while she's sleeping, and he takes a couple of them out and almost takes the last guy out, and something happens. They kind of they're laying on the floor, kind of meet eyes, and he gets a look at his face, and then after he recovers, and he actually lives through that, recovers, there's a whole trial where he goes to prison and then he gets out and he needs to find out. He's just trying to find out who this is, who's after him,
who's behind the killing, who
who's
killed
behind
his wife.
it,
who's the fourth guy?
Yeah. And he gets himself he kind of starts doing things his own way, where he the kind of a crazy scene where he crashes into this Russian military leader's car and sets the car on fire, and he gets in the car with him and interrogates him right in the back seat of the car.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's on fire.
These movies always like do something, like if it's like jumping out of a building, with a motorcycle and landing on a helicopter. There's always like these crazy moments, and I feel like this was one of those that you've never seen before. No, you've never seen a guy light a car on fire and then climb inside of it and interrogate the guy, and then just get back out.
Yep.
That's cool.
So that was pretty insane. So once he gets a name of a guy who he's supposedly was in his house, and he gets in, he has something to go on. He meets back up with the people that the good guys, the quote unquote Americans, and decides that he wants to go after this guy. And when he mentions his name, apparently this one guy is this super secret guy. They go down this whole backstory of how bad and dangerous this dude is, and that's kind of what I thought was setting up like this ultra super bad guy that he's going after. And so they make this whole plan up and to go after this guy. And as they start that mission to go after it, there's a bunch of stuff happens. They get shot down. They get I guess stuff gets leaked. They have a bunch of stuff that they have to overcome. They know something's going on because everything's going wrong on this mission. So when he finally meets up with this super bad guy, it's one of these like, we're just pawn speeches, and there's a bigger game at this, and there's more players at play, and you have to find out who it is. And he just kills himself. Like he's not even a bad guy, which was kind of disappointed. So once they make it out of there, it comes full circle around. There's a couple of shootouts where they're trying to escape Russia. He gets some more intel. People start telling what's going on, and it actually comes back to the director of the whole thing. Set it up to where he needed to be killed, and that's ended up killing his family. So he ends up going. That was a pretty cool scene, though, when he drives the car off the bridge and they're in the water together. So he's interrogated somebody in a fiery car and in a car that's underwater.
Right.
So,
both. He's a master of both elements, I guess.
I thought, overall, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't love kind of the acting and stuff. I thought it could have been a little better. But it wasn't anything I just probably would watch again. It was a good watch for an Amazon movie, I guess. I tell you one thing, over in Russia, when they were in that one shootout, those are the worst snipers I've ever seen in all my life. Did you think about that at all, James? I mean, you guys think it's like, you're snipers. You have 50 cal sniping, rifles, and you can't even, it's like, golly.
The one scene, Michael B. Jordan's, taking cover behind a wall. He gets a piece of a mirror, a shattered piece of mirror, holds it out, so he can see, which is very, clever. We've seen it before, but that's good strategy, right? I need to hold my hand out with the mirror so I can see him. The sniper sees him hold his hand out. He has his hand in the crosshairs. And I guess his scope was way off because he shot with his hand in the crosshair, and the bullet landed like 5 feet away or something.
And we're talking about they're shooting across the street. There's no bullet drop from this. I mean,
they're pretty close for a gun that size. I mean, you guys know I'm a gun expert, so I know that there wouldn't have been,
That was straight out Saving Private Ryan with the mirror. I kind of agree with you, Michael. I thought it was good. It was worth watching. I just kind of glanced at the reviews as I was, pulling it up before I watched it. The reviews weren't very good, so I kind of went into it, not expecting much, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's one of those movies where it kept my attention through the whole thing. I wasn't like stumbling through my phone most of the movie. So that's.
But at any time, I mean, this movie had a twist to it. But at any time, did you guys think that it was the CIA director or whatever? I mean,
from the moment Guy Pearce walked on the screen, I was like, that's the bad guy. Because all those movies, that's how they all work.
Yeah. What do you think, James, about the guns? They did pretty good with like the gunplay and stuff.
They did. The gunplay was great. I liked the all the optics that they had on the guns. They had like the side optics, like where they had like their magnification on top, and they had like the close range optics on the side. And they were tilting their guns over to the side like you should. Let's see what her name is. The girl who played Karen. Kind of like the badass chick.
Yeah, she was the SEAL team leader, wasn't she?
Did you notice her weapon that she had?
No.
That's a Israeli Tavor, the one that I have.
Okay.
That's my exact gun. So I thought that was pretty cool. I got there's only been a couple movies. Was World War Z when Brad Pitt goes to Israel. And they're having like the big shootout in the wall and all that, and like the zombies are climbing up the wall. All like the Israeli special forces, because that's their gun. Is the Tabor. Cool. So so I just got to see the gun and some gunfight action. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, all the gunfighting it seemed really good. Like everybody, I'm no expert, but it looked good to me. It wasn't like you could tell they had some real training.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, they did. Well,
Tom Clancy, it's a Tom Clancy joint, so he's known for his tactical military. That kind of thing.
Accuracy.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of an homage to The Town. Did you ever see The Town with Ben
Affleck?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's a great movie where kind of like blows stuff up and then just gets in the uniform of like the people that are there and then like walks out of there, like how Ben Affleck and those guys did, like with the cop uniform.
Somebody else did that too, where they got into the outfit of something and they carried it. Oh, it was The Professional. Oh, I love one of my favorite movies ever.
That's a good one.
The Professional, when all the cops come in after him and he ends up dressing up as a cop and they carry him out on a stretcher. Gosh, I love The Professional. It's a good movie.
I think they set this one up nicely for a sequel too.
Did you?
Do you think that there's going to be a sequel?
Did you watch the mid-credit sequence?
I did not.
Oh yeah, there was a mid-credit scene that took place a year later, because at the bottom it said 1 year later.
Do you just always sit through every credit since you're a Marvel dude?
Pretty much.
Oh my god!
Or at least take your mouse and scan to the bottom to see if
or fast forward it. But this one, I like to read. I'm really into reading the trivia on the movies once a movie's over, because I like to know just what about them. I like to scan through the reviews after I hate movie reviews, but I'm always curious what people think about it after I've watched it. I don't like to read it before. But anyway, the movie ended. I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to let it roll a bit. I'm just going to read some of the trivia on IMDb.
Yeah.
And I was reading that, and then the mid-credit scene showed up. So it said 1 year later. It showed John Clark. John Kelly, now John Clark. He was actually back standing in front of the Washington Monument. Isn't the big needle tower, right?
Yeah. That's an obelisk, Matt.
We should watch it. Cue it up, James. We'll watch it. No, I'm just kidding.
And he was back in DC. Ritter, who was the sort of little wormy CIA guy, he has now been promoted to the director of the CIA.
Oh.
He walked back. He walks up. Of course, this is at night. They're having sort of a clandestine meeting, and he says, "Hey, I was surprised when I heard you were back in DC." And John Clark said, "I've been thinking about some things over the last year about everything we went through and how it could happen again. I've been putting some thoughts together about forming an organization made up of operatives from the U.S., the U.K., handpicked NATO operatives."
Oh yeah,
he said, and Ritter said, "Who's going to run it?" He says, "I will." And he handed him like a flash drive or something. He said, I want to present it to the president. I want to call it Rainbow." And
Rainbow
the
Six,
idea,
baby. Let's go.
That's what. So this whole thing before this movie was ever even put out. when it was written with a two-parter in mind, Without Remorse being the first one, Rainbow Six being the second part.
Let's go. Whoa.
So kind of this is, so you can think of this one as obviously it was adapted from a book, which according to the IMDb reviews is way better, and this is nowhere near, doesn't have almost anything to do with the book, but then also sort of a lead into a video game movie, which not really a video game movie because the video games were based on books. So it's a, I'm not saying it's a video game movie, but
yeah,
there have been games. I shouldn't have even said that because now we'll get trolled. But there have been games based on these Tom Clancy novels, and now there are movies, or there have always been movies based on them. But this is another one.
Cool.
So yeah, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know if they'll make another one, because even though this movie was called Without Remorse, I found myself with remorse after watching it. I didn't think it was very good. I thought it was insanely cookie cutter.
Yeah.
All the way down from, like I said, the moment Guy Pearce. Well, last week, Pete, I was going to tell you to queue up our talk about it from last week after we watched the trailer, and I said, I guarantee Guy Pearce is the bad guy, and sure enough, he was. I thought it was all predictable. They went in the beginning of the movie, they were on an operation. They found out they were misinformed about the op, and then the CIA guy was acting all weird. And they weren't given everything they needed to know, and then they were trying to frame him for something, and then he got out, and the details of their mission when they went to Russia were leaked, and it was just all so predictable and cookie cutter. I feel like this is the worst performance by Michael B. Jordan I've ever seen.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good.
I love him. I mean, since Friday Night Lights, seasons 4 and 5, Vince Howard playing for the Eastdale Lions. I've loved him. I loved him in Black Panther and Creed, and anything that I've ever seen him in, I've thought he's been great. And except for this, I thought he was pretty bad. I just felt like everybody was completely phoning in their lines. I felt like nobody wanted to be there, which isn't true, because I think I read that he took this because he always wanted to be in a movie like this. I just didn't think it was good at all. I thought everything was so predictable. The only time I was a little bit thrown off was, I was like, is Jamie Bell, Ritter, the CIA guy, is he truly the bad guy because he's acting real shady?
Yeah.
Or is it Guy Pearce's character? I didn't know which one of them was, but a big shocker. It turned out to be our own government was behind it. And I thought their whole reasoning for doing all this was very end of Watchmen-esque, where at the end of Watchmen, Ozymandias drops an alien squid in New York to unite the world, to unite the world to rally against one thing. Yeah. Their whole reasoning for doing all of this is to make Russia the bad guys again, so that America as a country would come together against a common enemy.
Right.
But
well, I kind of got the tone that the politicians want war to, like, there's so much money involved in war, like especially arms dealers and stuff like Stark Industries and things like that. Wasn't there ever something said that they pretty much wanted to, there should be, war?
Yeah, they talked about that.
Yeah, they talked about how World War II
brought us all out of
the Depression.
Yeah.
And how Russia was the best enemy we've ever had, and we need to make them the enemy again. And whatever. But they did cut out like in the trailer, there was the scene where they said he's the most dangerous operative we've ever had, and then there was a scene of him saying, "You took everything from me," which are two completely cliche lines. Neither of those lines were in the movie, so that was good. Yeah. But I wasn't impressed with this at all. I was bored watching it because I just knew everything that was going to happen. So,
I found myself kind of zoning out in between the fight scenes. I kind of would tune in, and then
there weren't even that many fight scenes.
Yeah, there wasn't. And the whole the whole fight scene in Russia was just, was it good at all? I mean,
one thing that bugged me too is when they were in the passenger plane flying to Russia and they got shot down. And the plane is sinking. They're all trying to get off. Michael B. Jordan says, "I got to get the gear. There is no mission without the gear." The back of the plane breaks off. He swims down, gets the gear, nearly drowns himself, but he manages to get the gear. And then the gear was never seen ever again. I don't know what gear Zodiac. He was trying to get. What is the Zodiac?
What was the Zodiac?
I don't know.
I have no idea either.
He's like, I've got to get the Zodiac. Well, what the hell was the Zodiac? All you did was shoot people with guns. Mm-hmm. You didn't get anything. You didn't do anything. So I don't know.
Right. And I don't know if they actually meant that boat.
That's what I thought, because the boat had like all the guns and stuff in it. Like, what if they, if they lived and they were in Russia with like no weapons, like the mission would be over. Yeah. Okay. And they're out in the middle of the water. Like, how are they even gonna get?
Sure, and that. Well, you know what? You're right, and that is perfectly fine. But I just didn't. They kept talking about the gear, and then next thing I know, they're just on this little inflatable boat.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
One thing I thought was funny was it after after he got back out of the hospital, he goes back to his house, and in that hot water heater pulls out like this care package.
Yeah.
What they do, like they take all his guns and like freeze his bank accounts or something. He just got out of the hospital. I don't understand why he had to use, like, I guess it might have been unmarked stuff, maybe.
Yeah, just a stash. I'm sure all those Navy SEALs dudes have like secret stashes of weapons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was bummed. I mean, if they do make a Rainbow Six movie, I'll watch it, but I won't expect too much from it. So yeah, so that's it, guys. Without Remorse. If you want to watch it, it's on Amazon Prime. If you're really bored, you can go watch it. All right, so it's my turn to pick this week, and this is an easy pick for me. And I promise I wouldn't saddle you guys with this kind of stuff too much, but I thought this one would be unique enough for us to try it. So I want us to watch at least the first 2 episodes of Jupiter's Legacy.
Okay.
That is a Netflix. It's new to Netflix. Was released this past Friday, a couple days ago. And it is so it's based on a comic book by Mark Millar, the guy behind Kick-Ass, Wanted, those kinds of things. I started reading. I've actually never read the comics, but I actually started reading them. And it's superhero stuff, right? But it's not your typical Marvel superhero stuff. It's based on the comics that are based on are two different sets of comics called Jupiter's Circle, Volume 1 and 2, and then Jupiter's Legacy, Volume 1 and 2. The Jupiter Circle stories are tales about these 5 or 6 heroes that get these powers like back in the 50s, like late 50s. So it's all written as in, late 50s style. Everything's golly gee willikers. But there's dark, the heroes sort of have their own sort of secrets. It's nothing violent like The Boys or Invincible. It's nothing like that. I mean, they are heroes. But everybody, it's not quite as hunky-dory as you would think superheroes were back in the late 50s. And then the 2 volumes of Jupiter's Legacy, which is what the show is based on, is about those same heroes, but they're old now because it's present day, and they have kids who also have superpowers, but the kids aren't really interested in being heroes. They're more interested in being like celebrities and that kind of thing. And the kids don't really live up to their legacy. So it's that kind of thing. So it is superhero-y, but there's a little bit more nuance to it. If you don't like just straight comic book superhero stuff, there's a little bit more to this that you might like.
Sweet. Okay. I'll check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's an 8-episode series. I figured let's try to do at least the first 2, since that's basically like a movie. That's basically like a 2-hour movie or a 45-minute movie. I'll probably watch more, but I was trying to read some of the comic first. This came out in several years ago. I want to say like around 2012, 2013 maybe. And I was aware of the comic back then, but I never read it. I always meant to. But so it looks pretty good. The trailer on Netflix looks really good. So
sweet.
All right. Pete, let's switch over to some video game stuff. And why don't you tell us about Resident Evil Village?
Resident Evil Village, Matt, is a game that just came out just this past week. And I mean, I'm pretty sure most people know what Resident Evil is. If you don't, it's kind of the OG survival horror game. At least it was. I'm sure there are ones before it, like Alone in the Dark. Those kind of super kind of old school video games, but
I'd say it's one of the original and probably the most well known.
Sure. And there's been movies and stuff about it. But it's a survival horror game. And it's one of these games like where atmosphere is kind of like key. Like they, give you a light and you're kind of like walking around in like a room, but you can only see like what's directly in front of you and everything else is kind of like, blacked out and things jump out at you. It's just, they do a really good job of messing with you and putting things out there to make you think something, but then like it totally be opposite. And it reminds me of, there was a Resident Evil game. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the older ones where I was like in an elevator. Do you know, have I ever told you the story before? Where like you're in an elevator and the elevator, like you're just kind of playing the game, right? And the elevator stops like mid floor and like the lights start flickering. And then there's like a game show that comes over the PA system. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
So, but it has nothing to do with the game. It's just like they're talking about the contestants, and the guy goes on a rampage and like starts killing people in the studio, and then it cuts back out, and then the lights come back on, and the elevator starts working again.
Okay,
has nothing to do with the game, but just like you're just like froze for a minute, and you're like, "What the heck did I just listen to?" Like somebody just went on a rampage and killed a bunch of people, but had nothing to do with anything. That's the kind of thing that like Resident Evil Village is. It's set in. I don't want. So we have a buddy Dan who's getting ready to start playing this. I think so. I don't want to give away too much about the story, but I played
Level Cap TV.
I've played Level Cap. What is it? Levelcap.tv on Twitch.
Just Level Cap TV. LVLCAP TV.
Level Cap TV. Yeah. So he doesn't really do scary stuff well.
No.
So I played just under 2 hours of this game this week, and it freaked me out. Like I had my earbuds in, and it was dark, and I was playing it, and like that just kept, when things would happen, I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to see Dan go through this. Like it would be hilarious. Because there's like different types of zombies. There's like the slow moving zombies that are like kind of dumb, and then there's the ones that are like 28 days later zombies who are like just vicious and like animals, That's what these dudes are. And they are relentless. And you just find yourself like running and trying to hide. And like they give you like just enough bullets. And then you're like, it's
crazy. Those Left 4 Dead zombies.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, look, Dan's saying you got it. And I'll start it tomorrow night.
So tomorrow night. So Monday night. Monday night, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I want to watch.
Yeah, Dan's not good with scary stuff, so it's going to be great. So don't want to give away too much, but I'm super pumped for Dan to start playing it. But I'll probably watch, because he can really knock out video games too. So I have to be careful because I don't want him to get too far ahead of me. Then I won't be able to watch.
Stop watching once he hits where you left off, and you have to just ping pong back and forth.
Yeah. So, but it's good. It's a really good scary game. I can't talk too much about like how the story is, the mid story or the end, but the reviews seem good so far, and the graphics are incredible.
You're playing it on PC, right?
I'm playing it on PC. My system, I have a 2080, so it's not one of the newest, series graphics cards, but it does the job just fine. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. And that's mentioning it's scary because it is super scary.
See, I always wanted to play RE7 first because from what I understand, RE8 piggybacks right off the end.
It does, but they do something really cool. So I didn't play 7 either. At the very beginning of this one, they have like a thing that says, do you want the backstory? And then it goes on like this whole thing, like where it's like one long cutscene where it brings you right up to date.
Very nice.
Yeah, I wish more games would do that because So they bring you right up to date, and even if you have played 7, that'd be a good refresher. So you kind of learn about like Chris Redfield and like what's going on like with the agency and like who's
actually. I think Chris Redfield is a spoiler for 7. I think he doesn't show up till the end.
Oh really? Well, you learn that.
I don't know. I'm
as soon as you hit play on this one, you find out that he was in it. So
that's fine.
So watch watch that, Dan, at the beginning to get you caught back up. But it's good. I approve, and it's gonna be fun to watch Dan play. So, and hopefully, as I play through it, I can come back and talk a little bit more about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I would like to revisit this as you play through it. I don't do scary stuff either. I'm not quite to the level of Dan, I think, but I don't really watch scary movie. Well, I used to really not watch scary movies at all. But games, man, and this is another testament. Games like these, I think, are a testament to how games are just as legitimate of an entertainment form as movies. Because I tried to play back when I was streaming, like around Halloween, I always get the bug to play some scary games. I've tried to play like Outlast and Outlast 2. And, those games, you're always looking through a video camera because you need the night vision.
Yeah.
And I almost just can't do it. It's just so scary. Like, because something's going to jump out at you. And there are clips on my Twitch channel from way back in the day of me just jumping out of my seat when something, I spin around and something jumps out at me.
Oh yeah.
So, games can be every single bit as scary as movies. And I actually think in most cases probably scarier.
Yeah, you can,
because they're longer for one thing. I mean, you can sit through a 2-hour movie. You can power through a 2-hour movie and be scared and then done. Or you can play a 30-hour video game where there's scares at every turn. And so I also have trouble with scary games. That I've never played too many for a reason.
Yeah, this is a good one. So if you do decide to play one, this would be a good one to start with because it's legit.
Well, something that's not as scary that the three of us played a couple nights ago, Divinity Original Sin 2. This is what we talked about. Yeah, we had to battle to save the Civic Center. This one we played. We talked about it on the last episode. We weren't able to start last Tuesday like we wanted, so we started on Friday, and we played for a couple hours. Divinity Original Sin 2 is an RPG. It's more slightly story driven than maybe like an action RPG or maybe something like a World of Warcraft or something like that. You have to pay a lot more attention to the quests you're given. You're not even really given specific quests. You just talk to people and you might get an entry in your journal and you have to read it and try to figure it out. Depending on how you talk to NPCs and your responses and who you do or don't talk to, it may take you in one direction or the other. So we played on Friday, and we're going to plan on playing this a couple times a week. We're going to shoot right now for Tuesdays and Fridays. Pete is showing you some gameplay right now from Friday night.
And go ahead.
No, I was just saying we had a pretty good bit of fun with it. The first couple hours of this, you're on a boat with a collar around your neck, which prevents you from casting some magic spells. You have to get off of the boat, and you wind up on an island in front of this place called Fort Joy, and that's right where we ended on Friday. That was a good stopping point. So we're going to continue on from there on Tuesday.
And we had a pretty good audience. Shout out to everybody that dropped in and kind of encouraged us, gave us some feedback or just basically just made fun of us the entire time. It was a blast because our buddy Lauren, Dan at Level Cap was there for a little while. Tim was there.
Our buddy Packrat, J-Dub was there.
A couple of the WoW guys that and stuff like that. We really appreciate you guys doing that. It's so fun to just get everybody's opinion, and we got some tips from the chat too. Packrat was a Packrat that was a big help on some things because Matt and I have played it. We played it back in 2017, and we were just trying to relearn everything. We actually killed a door in this mission, which was good. I mean, it took all three of us to do that, but we took that wooden door down. But yeah, that's cool. I'd like to hear James's review a little bit on it since he was it was his first playthrough on some of it.
Yeah, I thought it was a blast. One of my favorite games of all time is XCOM. Like that was a game when I first had a gaming PC. Like I had XCOM and XCOM Terror from the Deep, and I got really into like that kind of slow turn-based fighting style. With the gameplay, and this isn't quite like that, but it's similar. So it's I liked it, and I like the voice acting was amazing. Like it really blew me away.
You said that a few times.
The narrator, I love the narrator's voice, and I don't know if it was just because my senses were heightened, but the narrator like really blew me away. I like that.
Well, just if you didn't join us on the stream, I created a human cleric, which is cleric's a kind of a lower tier, kind of in the paladin tree, which I'm going to be using like a mace and a shield. I've got a couple of buffs that I can buff the party with, and I also have a healing spell. But I also have some pretty good melee damage spells. I can do a knockback, and I can also do. Yes, Dan. It's a new drinking game to see how many times we can catch on fire. We caught on fire a few times.
Yeah, we spent half of the night on fire.
Yeah, and my healing spell, at least to put that out because it's a water-based healing spell. But so we also picked up. There's usually run around. I guess we're going to run around with a party of 4. That's why we picked up an NPC. We picked up the Red Prince.
I don't think he stays with us forever.
He doesn't? Okay.
I don't remember it from last time we played.
Yeah, well, tune in to see how that goes because, I had a blast. It was totally like I remembered a lot, but I had forgotten a lot as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm ready to kind of get into it. And I kind of feel like I'm filling our character out. Usually before in the past, I would play just a straight up tanky melee character and just go in and start hitting stuff. But now I kind of feel like you guys, man, Matt, tell us about your character because you were just dishing some damage out, and I thought, wow, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'm playing a dwarf Shadowblade, which and if you've played this and you're listening to this, please forgive me. I'm not super smart when it comes to these types of games, but a Shadowblade is essentially like a rogue. Daggers and backstabbing and that kind of thing. I think in this game, there is a rogue also. And I think the rogues in this game are a lot more focused on poisons and things like that, whereas Shadow Blades are more physical damage and things like that, but still positioning, getting around back and things like that. And yeah, once I got you don't start the game with any weapons, so basically you're just open hand slapping people in the face. But you eventually do find something. I found a couple of shivs, which allowed me to sort of teleport behind an enemy and backstab, or I have another attack where I can deal out 3 hits at once and that kind of thing. I can turn invisible and turn people into, I can petrify people, turn them into stone, which incapacitates them. I can turn people into chickens, but I don't think I did that last night or Friday night. But I thought it would be, so I had, and his name is Shadowbeard, and I had a character in WoW named Shadow Baird because Beard was taken. But I've always thought the idea of a dwarf with a long black beard, long black hair, but who's a rogue, who is all about stealth, but he's a little dwarf. I always thought that was just a cool thought. So that's what I created for this. And so far I'm loving him. So far I'm having a blast with him. Pete, awesome. What's your character? Tell us.
Mine is a male human battle mage. That's kind of like one of the like a melee caster. So he has like warrior abilities, but also what's the name of the lightning? It's elements called like it's air basically. Like your school of magic is air, but you deal out a lot of electrical blasts and chain reactions. We thought it might go well with Opie doing water as one of his elements. So like he can like make things wet, and then I could maybe spread some electricity around. So it's fun. I like it. So, and I also took one of my perks. I kind of went with more of like a sustaining build, like where it's like living armor, I think is the name of it. So like where I have like kind of like a self heal, like depending on like as I do damage, I kind of like have like a passive heal.
I've got that too as well.
Yeah. Therefore,
such as.
So it's fun.
Yeah. It is fun. We've talked about do we need to watch a bunch of YouTube tutorials and stuff, and I don't like doing that kind of stuff. It overwhelms me to the point of making me not want to play a game because I'm like, it's too much information. Yeah. I don't care about all this. I just want to play and have fun. So I think I will enjoy this more if we don't take it too seriously because
of course.
Sure, it's like a really in-depth RPG, but it's the tools are there to make it super in-depth, but you can make it as serious or not as you want. And I'm more the guy who doesn't want to take it too seriously. Just have fun with my buddies. And what we did on Friday, I think, was perfect. We didn't take anything too seriously, but we still spent time talking to NPCs, reading our journals, this kind of thing. And, it was great.
Yeah, once we fill it out, I thought we progressed because I kind of thought that ship part took a little longer the first time around, and maybe we were all green or we were all new, and we were spending. Yeah, definitely try not to overanalyze too much. I just want to have fun with it. Like, at first I was like, why are we trying to beat this door down? We need to get off the ship, and but we had fun. I had fun hitting the door. So,
yeah, well, we got like 6 new recipes from it. That thing on the wall gave us recipes. So yeah, we're gonna keep playing it every Tuesday and Friday for now. We'll be doing it on YouTube only. So if you want to watch us while we play, watch on YouTube. Of course, the VODs will be there afterwards. And I don't know if we'll talk about it every episode, but we will keep coming back to it during the podcast to talk about our adventures. If we did something major, maybe we get to the next act. At one point, we have to fight a big boss. We might talk about that. So yeah, it's just something else that we can do together that produces content that we can bring to you guys.
That we can talk about.
Yeah, we can talk about. Yeah. Obi, what'd you do today?
Well, it is Mother's Day, by the way. We didn't mention at the beginning of the podcast. Happy Mother's Day to all your mothers.
Yeah,
because we all have mothers.
Mother.
You mother. And yes, so today's Mother's Day, and my wife has been working from home ever since quarantine COVID of last year, and she's been looking around for some ideas to kind of get her little home office, kind of upgrade her home office a little bit, where her little workspace. And so she's been eyeballing a new desk. And my daughter's been eyeballing, she's been asking for a little while to upgrade some of her items in her bedroom. So we took a trip and went to IKEA today. If you don't know what IKEA is a Dutch conglomerate, multinational conglomerate of they make furniture. They make anything, household goods, anything. They manufacture furniture. They manufacture, guys, just
kitchenware, dishes, plates, bedding.
I don't know what they don't make. So yeah. So we made the trip today, which I live in Kentucky, and James lives in Ohio, in Dayton, and I live in Somerset. I'm about an hour south of Lexington, Kentucky. So we can get on the Interstate 75 and go north, and about 20 minutes south of James, like right north of Cincinnati, is an IKEA. That's the closest IKEA to us, I think. We just hopped in the car and went up there to see if we can get some of these items that we wanted. And it was a really good experience. I was really thoroughly impressed. Like, I've heard the stories. I've watched.
Wait, have you never been to one before?
Never been to one ever.
Okay.
I've never been to one. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk about it, because it was a different type of store. I mean, it really was. I mean, you could see why this whole thing is successful. And I'm not saying it just like took my breath away, but it was a really,
take my breath away.
Yeah, I wasn't in like, cause I like, this sort of stuff, but I like the styles of the IKEA stuff. And, and this is what, Matt said in the chat, to pick up him some shelves. And I follow and watch a lot of, gaming YouTube channels, retro gaming, anybody that collects stuff. You have to behind me and behind you guys, you have to put stuff on shelves. Well, apparently IKEA is a lot of these guys are big fans of IKEA stuff. They pretty much can make any shelf shape, size, shelf, organizer, anything that you want. And they talk about IKEA shelves all the time. And I've never, because you have to go to IKEA, you can't get this stuff shipped to you. You have to go to the store and get it.
You can. But it's a crapshoot. I mean, they will ship. Shipping is expensive. And they don't ship everything, and they don't ship what they do ship. They don't ship it everywhere.
Right. So anyway, it's easier to probably go get it. But so yeah. So you go into the store, and it's a huge store. You take the escalator to the top, and I kind of considered it No, and James had told me how it would go before, and I just how you can't picture it until you experience it. I kind of thought it was like how people explain like casinos are. Like there's this maze of all the stuff that you got to go through before you can ever get out. So you have to see everything in the store, and it's like totally being in like the checkout line at Walmart, and all the stuff's right there just forever until you get out of the store. But we did the whole thing, and I'm sure there's shortcuts like you can take to certain areas because I like if you wanted like after I got done with the entire tour, we took the long way. We went up the escalator. We went through all the showrooms. So every room of your home, they have a whole showroom dedicated to. So you walk all through this. You weave in and out of it, in and out of it. And if you see something you like, you look at the tag. And at the end of your tour, the Willy Wonka will come out, and you take the number that's on the tag. If there's an aisle and a bin, and you go put it in your cart and you buy it. But so I was just once I got to the end and basically on the main floor of this whole tour, they've got the little stuff like spatulas and just pots and pans, or just like we bought a strainer like you strain noodles and pasta with, because we didn't have one with like a handle on it, which would, we just saw. But I was like, if you come back and you just want like I wanted like a spatula, or if I wanted just some towels, can I go right to the towel section, or do I have to go up the escalator and walk all the way through the whole showroom? But yeah, I kind of figured that there was. But yeah, we found everything that we didn't find everything that we wanted. The stuff for my daughter, some of it was out of stock. It was a newer item, so I'm assuming we're just going to watch it. But it was almost too easy to get what you needed in a furniture place, because I kind of figured that it would be a hassle to find it, a hassle to get it out to your car. We're talking boxes and boxes of stuff, but I mean, the stuff was all packaged. It was all labeled. It was super easy to find. We loaded it. Carts were available. You could get a cart and throw it on it. It was, sometimes getting in and out of Lowe's is a nightmare.
Oh man, yeah.
But IKEA, it was
Where's all
breeze.
the flat carts? Yeah, I just need. Gotta get some plywood or something.
It was a breeze. It was a well-oiled machine.
Good.
So yeah, I was happy with it. Plus, you can eat there.
Yeah.
And you could. I mean, and on the way out, I've been wanting me some more of those blue IKEA bags, and they're 99 cent. 99 cent. Those bags, you could jump out of an airplane with those IKEA bags, and it would probably float you to safety. Those things, you could carry anything in.
Well, but, you're going to be up here in a little over a month for a nice weekend getaway. So,
that's what I was telling you before the show. Right. It's like
we could always make a little run to IKEA. If you guys want to.
Dude, we might need to, because when I get this back room cleaned out for my comic room, I need 2 Calyx shelves.
Yeah.
I have to go. My nearest one is in Atlanta. Takes me a couple hours to get there. So I would love to just get them and up when we're up there.
Yeah.
So real quick, James, if you could Google the thing I bought, this will go right in kind of my pickups. It's what did I put it in? I put it in the Discord. It's the I got me a little something that once I saw one, and it's another YouTuber had one, and he was using it for this sort of thing. Let's see, collections. Here it goes. What's it called? The here's the spelling of it. It's the Raskog, Raskog. Raskog. So I picked one of these up for myself. And this little area back here, like I've got a little organizing unit or whatever, but this I totally thought would be wonderful to like all of your game controllers that you got laying around, and all of your headsets that you got laying around, or my remote controls. You can throw them in this little bad boy, and it's got wheels, and you just push them over out of the way. And then when you want it close, or if you're sitting in your recliner, that would be awesome just to have next to you. Or beside your bed or whatever. So I love it. I got one for my son too. He probably won't use it, and I'll probably end up taking it, but that's okay.
That's what I win for you.
That was my pickup for me.
Yeah, real quick. The first time I ever went to IKEA, I went by myself to the one in Atlanta, and I found these things that my desk is sitting on now. They're like two little end tables. But I was like, well, those would be good, like legs, quote unquote, legs for a desk. IKEA was the only place. Obviously, they were IKEA. So one day I drove down there by myself on a Sunday once. Never been in there before. I thought it was going to be like Lowe's, where you walk into a big warehouse looking store. And I walked in, and there was just like, I was just following the path of like, wait, this is a big showroom. Did I go in the wrong place? Like, I just want to get the things. And it took me like, I was about halfway through before I realized, oh, they're making you walk through the showroom to see everything. And then it's going to open up. And then, at the end, I was like, oh, here's the big Lowe's type warehouse. And I got the things and custom made desks to sit on them afterwards. But it's kind of nice because they're big enough for my PC towers to sit in. So it's like my PC towers are sort of built into the desk. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was and the one in Atlanta I thought was kind of weird because you parked underneath and then took an escalator up into it, which was weird. Also, there's one in Jacksonville, Florida that I went to once when I was down there for work, and it was a lot easier. You just park in a parking lot, walk in. It was a lot more convenient. But
this one's right off the highway. Like you see it before you can even get off the highway. You know, you're just like coming up the highway, and you're like, IKEA.
Dude, if we had one here, I would be there every weekend.
That's what I told Marcia. It would be dangerous to have one close because the pricing is so good. Do you love the pricing? I mean, honestly, have you compared price? I haven't that much, but
it's the perfect ratio of price to quality.
Well, that's what I want to. Yeah.
It's not the best stuff ever, but it's nice enough for what you pay for it.
See, that's what I want to know because I want to put this stuff together this week, and I'll give you guys another little review because I have put together a lot of desk and baby furniture and anything that can come in from particle board to real wood to swing sets to whatever. I've got a pretty good sense of the quality of something that you could put together, and I'll let you guys know how it is because that little cart was $30. I mean, I know there's not much to it, but I think it's very functional, and when I saw one live, I was like, "Ooh, I really like that," and I grabbed it.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Well, I've got a couple pickups as well. Normally, I don't bother you guys with this kind of stuff, but I thought this might be universally accepted enough to be able to show. So on Amazon the other day, they had a buy one, get one 50% off on all kinds of books. And included in those all kinds of books were all kinds of trade paperbacks and hardcover comic books and stuff like that. So I went looking through 20 pages worth of stuff, and I found some stuff that I was really excited to get. I guess I didn't need it, but for the library that I want to build, it's perfect. So I picked up The Walking Dead Compendium #1. Big old thick reprints 1 through 48 of the comic.
Nice.
She's thick.
Yeah, and then I picked up with that, my 50% off was The Walking Dead Compendium 2. Big old thick boy that collects issues 49 through 96. And then I picked up a compendium #4, which is 145 through 193, which is the end of the series. Also, I did get compendium #3, but for some reason, that's not going to be here for a couple more days.
And again, tell the lay folk the difference between an omnibus and a compendium.
Well, there's not a hard and fast rule, but it depends on what the publisher wants to call it. Typically, compendiums look like this, where they're like paperback.
Yeah.
Whereas omnibuses typically are about this size, but hardcover and maybe a little bit bigger.
But there's not a rule. So typically an omnibus could be a paperback and they can call it
omnibus. Yeah, there are some publishers that release an omnibus, but it looks like this. So it's kind of just depends.
Okay.
But Image calls them compendiums. I got these though because I've read through like 120 something of Walking Dead. I never finished it. And I got the three Invincible compendiums that look just like this. And in 3 compendiums for Invincible, it gives you the whole series. And I always wanted to finish The Walking Dead, and then for this price, I was like, I want to own the entire Walking Dead because I don't actually own The Walking Dead comic, so I wanted to have the whole thing. So in 4 books this size, you get the entire comic series of The Walking Dead. And when that 3rd one comes in, I'm going to pick up where I left off, and then between that one and this one, I'll be able to finish it up.
Omni what?
Omnibus, Diana.
Omnibus, not bust.
Yeah, not busts. It's not a So I thought it was cool just to get I think a lot of people like the Walking Dead TV show, and this is where it started. So I'm gonna love having all 4 of these big volumes on my shelf in my library.
I don't read a lot of comics at all, but I would have to say probably of all the comics I've read, The Walking Dead's probably my favorite because I haven't read a lot of comic series.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's
Walking Dead.
Great.
Like I can name like comics that I've honestly got into. Watchmen, I read the whole Watchmen graphic novel. I read the most like 100 and plus issues of The Walking Dead back when the show was on or before the show came on. But you challenged us back in the day to like some Kick-Ass and some other stuff that I remember. But that's one that I was really good. Sucks you right in.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I will have I'll probably show off I don't know if I'll show it, but like I said, number 3 will be here in a few days. It was the cheapest, so I'm wondering if maybe a bunch of people saw it was like literally half off before the sale. So I'm wondering if maybe a bunch of people jumped on volume 3 and that's why it didn't come in. But it'll be here by next week. Pete, what you got?
Let's see. So I was going to Costco this week, and there's a game store up there going the way to Costco that maybe we went there last time you were here, Opie. It's called Epic Loot. It's like they sell like a little bit of everything, comics, video games, stuff like that. And from time to time, I'll just kind of stop in and see what they have and see if there's anything on the cheap. And as soon as I walked in, I was kind of walked back to the video game section. I noticed their big case that they had like all their little handheld games and was gone. I'm like, what the heck? And it's like the wall was clear on that little spot. And then I looked on the counter and there was just like a box and it just said all loose Nintendo Advance games, Game Boy Advance games are $1.59. And they just had them like sitting there like all in a big thing. And I'm like, what? So I started looking through them, I kind of cheated a little bit. I always feel bad like pulling out my phone to look up values of stuff. And the guy was standing right there. And I was like, I got so many of these. I was like, I gotta pull out my little Game Eye app and see.
That's what I'd say.
Duplicates, because then when you pull it up, you can see if there's any valuable stuff in there.
Yeah,
these things they were only $1.59. So I started buying some. So I just kind of went through and picked up, and I don't have to show you all of them. I'll show you a few of them, but that's what they look like. They're just little cartridges. Yeah.
Pete, your wife is watching, so you may not want to show all of them in case she doesn't.
Oh yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got. Just one single $1 game.
Wrap it up. No, but yeah. So I won't go through them all, but there was a couple that these were. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh game that is actually $1.59. $16.
Yeah, that's a Tendo special right there.
Yep.
$16. At least that's what Game Eye says. And Game Eye doesn't lie.
It doesn't.
Guys, I've been busted.
Yeah, busted.
Hey.
But so it's $16 game. Got for $1.59. So yeah, there's just a bunch of them like that. Virtual tennis.
Ooh.
I ended up getting like 16 games. So
yeah.
You can do the math. I didn't spend that much money. Disney's Tarzan.
No Pokemon Emerald or Pokemon Fire Red in there or anything?
I thought this one was cool. I want to look up gameplay of this and maybe get the emulator or the ROM and play it. Minority Report.
Whoa, it's a good movie.
I know. Like I'm excited to see what that is. And this is the other Yu-Gi-Oh game, which it's like straight up Japanese label.
Yeah.
Brother.
So.
Yeah, let me tell you this day and age, Yu-Gi-Oh, or pick up Yu-Gi-Oh, pick up Digimon, pick up Monster Rancher, all that stuff. That was the pre-millennials. I don't want to say they're millennials, but they were.
What? Look at this one, Nintendo.
Nickelodeon. Yeah,
I don't know what that one is, but
I don't know.
So I just kind of went through and got some of the ones that were a little odd, and there's so many like super like Hannah Montana type games, I'm just like
Mary Kate and Ashley and
that kind of stuff. But
but I mean, if you want to own the whole library, you got to get those too.
Yep.
So that was like my cheap buy. But then like the one that I saw it on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, it's been there for a while. So this is
There it is.
Whoa.
This is the Dragon. So this is not the. So I got home and I started doing like some serious research on it. So it is an opened one. So it's not like sealed,
Right?
Because those go for like hundreds of dollars. But this is Dragon Warrior, game that we've talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
One of all of our favorite
all-time
NES
favorites.
games. So it's a complete inbox. So it's got the game, the manual, the little.
Is there like another map?
Well, there is. There's two versions of it, and I was going to ask our buddy Dan, who has these sealed, because I didn't know this till I started kind of doing some research on them. There's one that you send, like if you had Nintendo Power, you send in like a card, your subscription card, and they would send you for free Dragon Warrior. But yeah, I didn't know that, and until I started like watching YouTube videos on like sealed stuff. And in the Nintendo Power version, it comes with extra stuff. Like there's like the box is like super fat. They said you can tell on a Nintendo Power free version, they chock it full of like extra stuff because there's like a Nintendo Power like little mini catalog or something in there. Because he's like, look at this one compared to this one, and like you can see like they're just like they crammed extra stuff in it, to give to. Those are like super rare, I guess. So yeah, so. Well, Dan said he didn't know that either. So now you know, Dan.
You got learned.
But Dan
caught you slipping, Dan.
Yeah.
Our buddy Dan has the original and 2 and 3 all brand new sealed, right? Aren't they sealed, Lawson?
2 and 3?
I thought he did. Didn't he have 1, 2, and 3? I don't know. Maybe it was just
He'll tell us in a minute. Bruh, Dragon Warrior was my first ever RPG. I didn't even know the term RPG back when I played it.
Same. Same.
But look how crispy this box is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that's like a collector box, like clear case?
Yeah.
For the box,
I asked
right?
him. I asked him. I was like, "Hey, do I get that case too?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I throw that case in there for you."
Nice. Oh, he says he's got also 4. I have 1 through 4, not sealed, but complete in box.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Sweet. Yeah. So that's my haul. I just got some Game Boy Advance and a Nintendo game. So,
well, you've got us on a big Nintendo nostalgia trip now. Why don't we wrap up this show with a little bit of NES trivia?
It's that time, y'all. I do. So we're gonna last time
some game show music or something.
I did a little bit of searching, and I'm kind of going through games that I love for now, and then I'm sure as we do this a few more times, we'll start running out of ideas, and then have to go a few more deep tracks. But this is going to be fun. So Opie swept it last week, Matt. He got 2. He was 2-0.
I was right behind him.
I mean, yeah, but you got to be quick on the draw, man. On a game show, you can't be like, well, Alex, I was right behind him.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rip.
Soon. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's start it off here. I'm going to go full screen to hide the.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. First one to call it gets it.
Command.
Oh, is it Command? It's not Command and Conquer.
No, it's not Command and Conquer.
Well, I didn't know if there's like a
Gosh, there's a couple of games I want to say, and it's going to be wrong.
Oh shoot! I want to play this though. I can't.
Easy run over, guys. I remember this game.
It's a classic, and like when you hear the title, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know that one."
I guess I didn't play that many NES games growing up. Like I always played the same ones.
Is this called? This is not called.
I'm gonna call it in 5 seconds. I'm gonna call.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get
4,
it.
Is it called Commando?
2, 1.
Jackal.
Oh, you Googled.
All right, so that's one. We're gonna give him that one.
Yeah, he got it in. 3-pointer at the buzzer to win.
Okay.
I thought Jackal. The reason I didn't say it earlier is because I guess it has a level where it's a side-scrolling level too.
Yep.
And you jump stuff in it, and you go up and down. Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go with the next one. Oh shoot! Hold on. Let me make sure I got this right. Oh, here we go. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta start the video before I share it, so you don't see the title.
Is that Commando or Rambo?
I was kind of going with kind of fighting themes, action movie themes. It's
Ooh, I want to play this.
Watched
okay.
Double
Dragon.
It's not Double Dragon 3. That's not Double Dragon. It's rolling into the next game. No, that was a game called POW.
Oh, okay. No, I did not know
that's
that.
What Dan said in the chat on the last one. He said he was thinking POW. So
I was almost thinking like a different version of Akari Warriors because he was blue. You always had a blue and a red Akari Warrior.
Okay. So those were a little difficult. So this is going to rein it back in. This is going to be a little bit easier for you guys.
Mario Brothers.
All right, here we go.
Oh, it's Addams Family.
Ding, ding, ding,
good
ding.
job.
Matt's on the board.
I was like, is this a knockoff of Ghost and Ghouls or Ghost and Goblins?
Good one.
Good one, man.
All right, last one. I think, did we? No, I got two more.
Okay.
All right, this one should be pretty easy too.
That's Akari Warriors.
Ding, ding, ding. Akari Warriors.
Looks like Rambo.
You could be red or you could be blue. That's what I thought the POW was, like a different level or a different version of the game.
Would it help if I include the sound as well?
I don't think it would help me very
not
much.
Really.
All right, last one.
I'm not going to know most of them.
This is the tiebreaker because you both have one, right?
I've got two.
Oh, you have
I got Jackal.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. This one is this is a good one. I love this game. So you guys should be able to get this one pretty quickly.
Cubert. Bill Walsh College.
Oh, Kid Icarus.
Oh, that's a tie.
No, I said no way.
Go to.
I was totally
play
first.
the tape. I don't know. I sounded like it was a tie to me, but.
Oh my gosh, I played this.
I know, man.
Did you guys beat this? I never beat this.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I did. It's one of those that I wish I would have, but I never did.
That's what you need to do in line at school.
Yeah.
Let's fire up Kid Icarus.
You're right. That's a good game though, man.
Well, I didn't know it was Zelda-esque. Which came first, this or Zelda?
Zelda, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Dude, that Kid Icarus, me and our buddy Travis talk about this sometimes. How, Nintendo lives and breathes by Mario and Zelda.
Yeah.
How has Kid Icarus not been
no kidding.
part of that family? How have there not been 36 Kid Icarus games?
Yeah.
Over the last 30 years.
It was a good game. Everybody I know, everybody played it. I knew everybody had it.
Everybody had it. Seemed like.
And played it.
That's all I got.
Gosh.
Maybe we'll revisit in a few weeks, play some more NES trivia.
Heck
or
yeah.
dare I say, open it up to... Because Opie, I know Matt was a big Sega Genesis guy. Did you have a Sega Genesis, Opie?
Yes, I was Sega Genesis after I never had a Super Nintendo.
Same as me.
Yeah. We were all, but still the catalog, I bought Sega for sports games. So I'm weak when it comes to any other titles, other than, we had a few titles that weren't sports games. Like we played the crap. Zelda 2, look, yeah. And we played the crap out of. They made the Kid Icarus for 3DS. Dan says.
Yeah, and I was aware of that one, but I just don't know how there's not as many Kid Icarus games as there are Zelda games, or at least 3/4 as many, because that's I think that's first party, right? I just don't understand how there's not. God, I played that game so much and was so frustrated by it continuously.
Well, now we got to see a little Kid Icarus 3DS footage.
Yeah.
But no, it's going back to Sega. Like, we played a lot of hockey, a lot of football. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. In your best Metal Jesus voice over this, James.
I'm huge.
I'm huge.
Now, guys,
well,
I really like it, but I don't know. I can't do a Metal Jesus.
No respect. We love Metal Jesus. No disrespect.
We do.
I think Metal Jesus is fantastic. I don't watch all of his videos, but I do watch quite a few of them.
Eggplant Man. Great. That was the Eggplant guys.
Yeah. That's cool.
That is cool.
All right.
Awesome. That would be a fun one to have. All right, guys. Well, that was a good show. That was a good way to end with a little NES trivia. I did win the Kid Icarus against Opie. Then go back and watch. I was first.
Check tape.
We'll check it, and if so, then it'll be tied up 2-2. But
nice.
Opie overall standings would be 4-2.
He's 2 more ahead of me.
He got
because he got 2
from last week.
I'll have to keep a scoreboard on the Discord or something. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Pete, why don't you hit us with the social medias?
Send us a tweet. We're on Twitter at Anything Newcast. Nobody ever sends us a Twitter. Send us a tweet.
We don't tweet too much either. We probably should.
You send us an email at anythingnewpodcast@gmail.com. We're on the gram, Anything New Podcast. We need to do a better job at uploading our finds and our pickups on there.
Our pickups.
You may be watching us on YouTube. This is the link for it. This is a bit.ly/anythingnewyt. But where we really like to hang out is on our Discord. It's bit.ly/anythingnewdiscord #1, because we're the #1 Anything New podcast on Discord.
That's right.
Yes, we are.
And not
we're on
because
Facebook.
I screwed up. And
we are not on TikTok.
No, we're too old for TikTok.
We should make a TikTok, actually.
I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do.
I know.
I'm old.
Okay,
that'll be one of my homework assignments for this week, and we can just do little clips from our previous show and make TikToks about it.
It's like I told you, I once made a 10-second Instagram reel of me putting 3 omnibuses on my shelf. It took me 30 minutes to figure out how to do it. I was like, no, wait, how do you put I know people put music to this. How do the kids do it? I don't know. It took me 30 minutes to figure out a 10-second Instagram reel.
Instagram's hard to do Snapchat. I mean, Snapchat's a little easier.
I can't do it. Dude, I only just figured out Instagram stories last year.
Your Snap Crackles and your Graham Talks and
your face snaps and your Insta tweets. I don't know what you kids are doing. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Don't forget to watch Jupiter's Legacy. We're gonna shoot for at least the first 2 episodes. Like I said, I'll probably watch more. So if you guys want to watch more, do it. But at a minimum, watch the first 2. We'll talk about that next week. Probably have some more Divinity talk. Maybe Pete can fill us in some more on Resident Evil Village. If he gets all the scares or not.
I'm going to be playing it tomorrow.
And watch Dan and Level Cap TV tomorrow night as he plays Resident Evil. So that's going to be super fun. I know I'm going to be there.
I would say literally watch Dan as he plays. Because it's almost more fun to watch him than it is to watch the game.
Than his gameplay.
Because he's a scaredy. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate you watching. We will see you next week.